Welcome back, guys. Today I want to go over something that I thought I would never actually buy, but I broke down and bought it. What's up, guys? Welcome back. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, shoot a comment down below, some stuff that you want to see, and let's jump into this. So a couple of days ago, I'm searching around on Amazon looking for some new gear to buy or whatever. I had some Amazon points and I figured why not throw it towards something fun and possibly useful. So of course I ordered the least fun thing for photography or graphic design or anything like that, at least in my opinion, and that is a monitor calibrator. Now this is something that I have been on the fence about getting for a while, only because obviously we want our colors to be correct. We want our colors to be accurate, especially if we're doing prints or if we're delivering photos to a client or whatever the case is. We want to make sure that our colors are correct. Now, for the longest time, I've always done this manually. There's plenty of resources out there that allow you to use their online visuals, if you will, to calibrate your monitor in a way that you feel necessary. Now, these are time-consuming and not completely accurate, but I will say that I've spent enough time doing it that I've actually gotten quite good at it. But with everything good, that means that there's room for improvement, and I was willing to see if this could do any better. Now, I watched a bunch of videos online, obviously, as you are right now, trying to figure out if this is gonna be worth it, how does it work, what is it gonna take to actually make this thing work. Now, when you first open it up, you've got a card that tells you where to download the software, and you have the SpyderX as well. Very simple. There's not a whole lot to this. It's literally this little jobber right here. Look at this thing. This is all it is. This little thing. Now, before I get into showing you how to set this up and how to use it, what is a monitor calibrator and why do we need it? The short answer of this entire thing is that, like I said previously, we want our colors to be correct. Whether you're doing photography or graphic design for print or really anything, especially if we're working with printed objects, we want to make sure that the colors that we see on our screen are what will be seen after it's printed. If you send off a client's picture to be printed and it's super warm on the screen, but not really super warm when it comes to the print, it's gonna be a completely different product from what you actually ordered. You're gonna be wondering what the heck's going on. This isn't what I ordered. The colors are all whack. Well, this is probably why. It's because you haven't calibrated your monitor. And I've been there before, and that's why I started doing it manually. That's why I found the resources I did online to be able to calibrate my monitor myself. Now, again, that's not always accurate, which is why I decided to try this out. So now I'm gonna turn the camera over to the monitors. We're gonna go through the full calibration, minus a few things because I've already done a couple things just to test this out. I'm not gonna lie, I already calibrated my monitors. But we're still gonna go through it, and hopefully you'll find something of use in here that'll help you in determining whether or not you should buy one of these in the first place. Here we go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this set up. Again, I've already been through this with both of these monitors, but I'm gonna go through it with you guys, that way you can see what it's all about and really see how simple this process really is. Now, the first thing you're gonna do is you're going to head to their website right here. You can see that. I'll put it across the screen. I'll put a link in the description below so you have quick access to that. Basically what this does is going to take you to a spot where you can download their drivers, since this stuff nowadays does not come with an actual disc. It's just coming with a link so you can go download it yourself. All right, once you get there and you've downloaded the software, you're gonna have to register your device. And if you look in the bottom, I'm not gonna show it to you, but if you look down into the bottom, there's actually a serial number which is going to allow you to register your device. That way it can track you or whatever, I don't know. But it's gonna make you do that. Once you get that downloaded and everything, you're gonna have to actually plug in your SpyderX, and it is a big USB, it's a regular USB. If you're using a MacBook, you might need the USB-C, which if you have a newer MacBook, you probably have a bunch of these little adapters running around. So go ahead and plug this in. All right. Now the one thing that I thought was a little odd when I first plugged this in, when I plug something in, I want to hear a beep or see a light or something, just to know that it's actually plugged in, that it's actually connected, but there is nothing with this thing. So it's gonna look like it's dead, like there's nothing happening, but it's working. Just trust it. Once you get the software brought up on your screen, you've got your SpyderX plugged in, you're gonna be prompted with a couple questions just to make sure that the SpyderX Pro software has you in the right position to start the calibration. The first thing that it pops up with is, have you warmed your screen up? Has it been warmed up for the past half hour? That way, to make sure that the screen is completely on, it's fully on, the colors are warmed up. I don't know the science behind that, but just take my word for it, it wants you to do that. Another thing that it's gonna ask about is the lighting conditions. Now, it's asking, have you checked that there's no intense light falling directly on your display screen? And unfortunately, I think I have quite a bit. I've got lighting in here for this video, so this calibration might not be correct, but I did a correct one earlier, which I'll revert back to after this video. But for the time being, I think we'll be okay. Just make sure that you don't have any desk lamps directly pointing at your screen where the calibration is going to be, or direct sunlight. You just want to make sure that you have a very neutral shine. The next thing it's going to ask about is the display settings themselves. If you are like me or anybody else out there that's got a monitor who has not properly calibrated their screen, you've probably played with the settings a little bit to try to get the best picture possible. This software is asking you to revert back to factory. Go back, reset all of your settings just to make sure that we're starting on a clean slate. Now, I've already done that, so I'm not gonna actually go in to do that. Every monitor is a little bit different, so you're just gonna have to play around with it and figure out how to do a factory reset to get back to those factory settings before you get started. The other thing it's gonna do is it's gonna ask you to change your temperature control. It's gonna want you to be at 6500K or equivalent. I know some monitors don't have that, but that's gonna be the standard base as to where they want you to start. And then as far as brightness goes, they're asking you to adjust the brightness to a level at which you are comfortable using. And last but not least, plug in your X Pro, which we did earlier, at least I did. It's telling us now that we just wanna make sure that it's actually plugged in. And it's wanting you to plug it in directly to the device, not through a USB hub or a keyboard or any other USB port, whatever. They want it to be as direct as possible. Makes sense. All right, once you've gone through all your checklists, all you're gonna do is you're gonna push next on the screen, and you're going to pick your actual display. Next up, it's gonna ask you about what kind of backlight your monitor is. Now, they do a fantastic job, because I wouldn't know what to pick. I don't know what any of this is. I just know that I can see what I'm doing, and that's that. But they do a pretty good job giving you a good explanation of what each monitor is and the likelihood of your monitor being one over the other. So I'm not gonna go in details with that because that's something you're gonna have to check out when you're actually in the software. We're gonna move on to the next step. On the next part here, it starts getting into the calibration settings. It actually allows you to recalibrate your display, check the accuracy of your current calibration, or do a full calibration of your display. And then when you're in there, it's gonna give you current target settings that it's gonna try to aim towards. So there's a nice little drop down that's gonna tell you exactly what monitor you're going to be doing. Right now I've got the Psyche, I've got the 4K monitor hooked up, as well as the Apple monitor obviously on the laptop. So it's allowing me to pick which monitor I really wanna deal with. And this time I'm gonna just go with the Apple computer, and that's gonna allow me to calibrate that screen again. So the next thing, we're gonna do a full calibration. I'm gonna push next. The next thing that pops up on the screen in the software is talking about the color temperature again, and it's gonna want you to make an adjustment on your actual screen to ensure that you're starting at a good point. It's basically telling you to set the color temperature on the display to the preset that matches a desired white point of 65K. Again, it just wants you to start at that 65K like we talked about earlier. And from there, we're gonna push OK again. All right, so now I got my other camera set up. Typically I would do a screen share on this, but it's kind of hard to show you something on the outside of the screen if I'm just doing screen share. So I actually got another camera set up. I'm gonna show you kind of what I'm doing here. So in the app over here, you're gonna see that it's gonna want you to place the spider within this little shape right there. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna open this up. This actually pulls out right there, and this is gonna rest over your monitor, which we're gonna show you over here. This is gonna balance it on there, if that makes sense. So your monitor goes in the middle, this kind of sits on top. So I'm gonna put this over the top of the monitor and see what we got. All right, so as you can see, I've kind of got that right in the middle right there. Just make sure that it's straight. Now I don't know, setting this up, like how accurate this really has to be as far as like, you know, being straight or anything like that, but I did take the time to make sure that it was straight, which honestly probably doesn't mean anything. It probably doesn't matter, but I just wanted to make sure that I was as close as possible just to make sure that I got the best reading. Now the other thing that they talk about is you want to make sure that the front of that is like flat up against the screen. So what I did is I just wanted to, kind of gave it a little tap just to make sure that there's nothing around it. And it was perfectly, if you look from the side, you can actually tell whether there's a gap in there, and there's no gap in this one, so we should be good to go. Now once you get that set up, you're gonna go ahead and push next. And it's gonna go through and it's gonna start doing some crazy stuff. You're gonna start seeing some colors flash up, it's gonna get bright, it's gonna get dark, and basically it's just gonna go through all the colors, it's gonna go through all kinds of stuff. Now this is a pretty quick process, and again, I've already done this before, so I kind of know what I'm going through, but I am doing a full calibration. I'm not just checking or anything like that. For this video, just for the video, the purpose of showing you guys what it's all about, this is actually going through a full calibration. So we're sitting here, it's about half done. It goes pretty quick. Here we go. I think we're about done. All right. Measuring is completed, it says please remove your spider. So we're gonna remove the spider from the screen. I'm gonna put that cover back on so we don't ruin it. Set to the side, and then we're gonna push finish. All right, now it's gonna ask you if you wanna save that. We're gonna save that one as 2. Congratulations, your new profile has been created. We're gonna go to next. Now the cool thing that we get into next with this is it's actually gonna show you what it looked like before and what it looks like now. So you can really tell how off you were. And I thought I was extremely close, and I was not. So we're gonna go in, right now I'm looking at the calibrated view, and that was the uncalibrated view. Calibrated view, uncalibrated view. The next screen is going to show you a gamut display, and then it's going to have another button that says quit, and then the software is going to disappear off your screen and you're set. It's automatically saved, and again, this is only on Mac. I don't know about how PC works, but this is on a MacBook Pro, and it is automatically saved my color profile and my calibration for this particular monitor, and it's been stored in my system preferences, and it's already been applied to my screen. There's nothing else that I have to do. It literally took that's it. Like, there's nothing else you have to do other than enjoy beautiful colors on your monitor the way it's supposed to be viewed. So if you're big into photography, big into graphics, big into anything that's going to require you to print accurate colors, you have to calibrate your screen. Again, I thought I was pretty close by doing it manually, but with the resources that I could find online, and I was wrong. I was off quite a bit. So yeah, I would just recommend getting this. If you're doing video or pictures or anything that's gonna require colors to be correct, anything creative, calibrate your screens. It's worth it, 170 bucks. And I can use this multiple times moving forward because our monitors are going to change. The brightness levels are going to change. They're gonna wear out, so you're gonna have to calibrate them again. In fact, the software that comes with the SpyderX Pro actually has I saw it in there when I was playing around, obviously, and I set it up so it's gonna remind me once a month to recalibrate my screen. Now, typically on something like this, I would think that it'd be a hassle, and I don't wanna, it's like updating your phone or updating, my laptop sits here with an update waiting for a month before I decide to do it, because I know it's gonna take forever to do it. This thing literally took 2 minutes to do. I'm not gonna shy away from it. I'm just gonna keep this next to my monitor. That way the next time that happens, that pops up saying I need to do a recalibration, we're gonna do it real quick because it only takes a couple minutes, and it's gonna make sure that I see the best colors possible. So if you're big on any of that stuff, pick up the calibration tool. There's lots of them out there. This is just the one that I ended up picking up because I like the reviews. It was simple and it was priced about where I could digest it. So here we are. So far, so good. If you're looking for something, check out Amazon, 170 bucks. Check it out. Get those beautiful pictures. Till next time.